So as you all know, Fox News is basically a factory of lies. That's what they are. They are right-wing propaganda, Trump propaganda. They view their job as defending the entire Republican Party establishment and also concentrated sectors of power and money. So like Wall Street, the military-industrial complex, that's their job. They are effectively state TV for the right. Now, it's funny that people don't talk about this that much anymore, but it's actually kind of super important. Fox News had to pay out, Jesus, what was the exact number? It was some ridiculously high. In fact, hold on, let me look it up. I need to know. So Fox News had to pay out $787 million over lying about the election, right? All of the rigged election, stop the steal, all of that stuff. Dominion sued them. They were able to prove defamation and damages. In other words, these people were lying and they knew that they were lying. And we have internal communications that prove that behind the scenes, they're saying one thing, in front of the cameras, they're saying the exact opposite, right? A lot of stuff came out in Discovery and they ended up settling for $787 million. They are admitting to, they are copping to, we are a lie factory. That's what we are. And so they've always been, to one extent or another, state TV. They've always been that to one extent or another. But guys, it is somehow continuously getting worse and worse and worse. There's not an independent thought on that whole fucking network. So, of course, Signalgate happened the other day. As you all know, you had this group chat on Signal of top foreign policy officials, which is illegal, by the way, for them to do it on Signal. It's not the proper channel, and it could be hacked and all that stuff, right? And Mike Waltz, one of the advisors, invited in a journalist. Apparently didn't realize that he had invited in a journalist, right? And they were sharing this top secret war plans about bombing Yemen in that forum, right? And so what is the Fox News response to this? Now, remember, these are the people who would not shut the fuck up about Hillary Clinton's emails, right? It was the biggest scandal in the world and how reckless she is with classified and top secret information. This is even more reckless. And what's the reaction? Here we go. Let's watch.
On to another big story today out of The Atlantic, where their editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg has reported that he was accidentally sent sensitive information about military strikes in Yemen. The messages come from 18 national security officials. They were sent through the encryption app Signal, and there are indications that they appear to be authentic. I think there are two takeaways from this story as of what we know today. One, it is incredibly concerning that sensitive information would be sent with a journalist included in the thread. We can speculate, and there is reasonable, fair expectation that somebody like Jeffrey Goldberg was accidentally included under his initials, JG, when who was meant to be included was a trade chief, Jameson Greer. But if it was accidental, and we'll wait to see if this was accidental, it is incredibly concerning that this information would be shared over the Signal app with the journalist included. But the bigger takeaway for me is it's an insight, a transparent insight into the thought process and dialogue of our national leaders. If you look at the actual content of what was reported, if you look at how they discuss potential strikes on Houthis in Yemen, what you will see is dialogue between Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, Stephen Miller, Tulsi Gabbard, and many more in a very collaborative, open, honest, team-based attempt to come to the right decision after years of secrecy and incompetence. If you read the content of these messages, I think you'll come away proud that these are the leaders making these decisions in America.
Bro, that's North Korea shit. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? If you read the messages, you'll be proud of the way they discuss things and the way they try to make sense of it and the plans that they come up with. Are you kidding me? First of all, the entire fucking thing is completely and utterly illegal. Not just using the Signal app in the first place, which that is illegal, but bombing the Houthis at all. Bombing the Houthis at all is completely illegal. There's no declaration of war. Congress never fucking weighed in on this. The Houthis never fucking attacked us. They're just adding it on to the declaration of war for the war on terror, which was about Al-Qaeda, who have nothing to do with the Houthis. And also, the Houthis are just blockading to stop ships from going to Israel because they want Israel to stop relentlessly carpet bombing Palestinian babies. This is your reaction? And by the way, I read a bunch of the messages. It is not anything to be proud of. You got these grown-ass men, fucking 50, 60-year-old men, using emojis and shit like they're high school girls. The most pushback there was like J.D. Vance going, I don't know if this is consistent with some of the stuff President Trump has said. And we don't even need the Red Sea for our trade. This would be to help our partners in Europe and sort of fuck our partners in Europe. They can fuck off anyway. Like, that was the biggest pushback. And then eventually everybody was like, fucking thumbs up anyway. Let's fucking do it. Right? This wasn't deliberative. This wasn't intelligent. This was a bunch of frat boy idiots on a group chat being frat boy idiots and not even realizing they're leaking the most highly classified information you could possibly imagine. Which, again, by the way, I'm happy it was leaked because the whole process of bombing the Houthis is illegal and unconstitutional anyway. And now they're desperately trying to cover their ass. And this is your fucking reaction? This is your reaction? Oh, when they were using emojis like high school girls, I thought, this is an amazing look at the deliberative process that our genius leaders are doing. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ. It reminds me of that meme of the North Korean news lady sitting there talking about, the dear leader has done amazing things today. That's what this reminds me of. Okay, I got one more for you. Here's Jesse Waters and his commentary.
Did you ever try to start a group text? You're adding people and you accidentally add the wrong person. All of a sudden, your Aunt Mary knows all your raunchy plans for the bachelor party. Well, that kind of happened today with the Trump administration. Mike Waltz was putting together a group chat on Signal, an encrypted app, with the Secretary of Defense, the VP, and a bunch of other national security officials to collaborate on whether to strike Iranian proxies in Yemen who keep firing missiles and shutting down shipping. Well, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz accidentally added a reporter to the group text, and not a good reporter. Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic, one of the biggest hoax artists around. Well, he heard some things he probably shouldn't have, but could have been a wee bit of a security breach. But it's not like they homebrewed a server and then bleached it or kept classified documents in their garages next to their Corvette. I'm sure it won't happen again.
Oh my God. But what about Hillary? And what about Joe Biden? It was a wee bit of a security breach, but I'm sure it won't happen again. Who are you, his fucking dad? Are you their dad? What are you doing? Look, Fox News has always been trash, but anybody who continues to watch it and take it seriously, post them having to pay out $787 million for lying and knowing they were lying and doing it anyway, doing defamation, spreading untrue things that they completely knew were untrue based on the internal communications. If you still watch after that, you're just a sucker. How much more clear do they have to make it? That they are state TV. They are pure propaganda. I got a million problems with the CNNs of the world and the MSNBCs of the world. To me, they lean way too much on both sidesism. They do false equivalence all day long, right? They try to present both sides of the argument, even when one side of the argument is the stork theory of having a baby and the other one is correct reproduction stuff, right? That's my problem with them. But there is no comparison between those networks and this. This is a brand new level of humiliation. But the thing is, they know they're preaching to the choir. They know their whole job is confirmation bias and propaganda, right? And if you know that and you go into it eyes wide open saying, I want confirmation bias, I want propaganda. Well, okay, but then don't fucking expect us to take you seriously. And don't expect us to not call you a fucking idiot. Because you're an idiot if you do that. Right? I'm not going to fucking sit here and sing Kumbaya and play patty cakes with people who knowingly want to be lied to. I'm not going to do it. You got to tell the truth. That has to come first and foremost. It's the most obvious thing in the world if you work in media, in any respect. But it's literally last on their list of priorities. Number one on the list is defend Trump, Republicans, and MAGA at all fucking costs. And that's 1A. 1B is defend the powerful. Defend the multinational corporations, defend the military-industrial complex. Like, this is what we're dealing with here. So just understand that. These segments are embarrassing. Because here's the thing, man. This is one of those stories where even if you're just minimally honest with yourself, you would read it and go, yeah, this seems bad. it seems bad that our foreign policy leaders are like a bunch of frat boy idiots texting emojis to each other through a channel that they shouldn't even be using, haphazardly inviting in journalists to give away the most top secret information possible. And also, by the way, again, the core point is casually discussing bombing illegally. When, remember, Trump used to virtue signal like he was anti-war. Now he's the most pro-war person we've ever seen in modern American history, and everybody's supposed to be okay with that, right? Like, every aspect of this story is just a brutal wake-up call for who and what we're dealing with here. Yes, they're incredibly evil. These are evil people, but they're also comically inept and incompetent, and that is undeniable now. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.